Hey everybody, Derek here to bring another video for The Walking Dead Season 6. I hope you guys can hear me okay on this video. My voice is a little raspy. I'm actually recovering from a cold, but I wanted to make some new videos. I got a new video camera that I'm testing out to see how much better the image and the quality might be. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is predicting what I think is going to happen in episode 13, which is called The Same Boat. If you are not caught up with The Walking Dead and you do not want to be spoiled in any way, then exit the video now and come back later, because otherwise you will be spoiled. Okay. So when we last left off in episode 12, the group had invaded the Savior's compound, and they had killed approximately 20 individuals in the Savior's compound. It was a pretty brutal episode. A lot of things had happened. And at the end of the episode, they go out into this courtyard, and we find that one Savior, at least, was still alive and was trying to get away on Daryl's motorcycle. The group is able to capture him, but before they can say anything, they get a message on a walkie-talkie from a female speaker who basically says, hey, we got somebody named Carol and Maggie, and you guys might want to talk about that a little bit because I think they're your people and obviously you're going to care. So at this point, Carol and Maggie have been taken prisoner by the Saviors. It's a couple of different individuals. I think there was about 4 or 5 of them. Several of them were women and a couple of them were men. And the one that was speaking is played by actress Alicia Witt, who is best known for playing on Justified. And she is going to be playing a character named Polly. Now, obviously, I think that these are saviors. I think that they are individuals who are members of the Saviors. Whether they were at the compound at the time is hard to say. They may have heard all the gunshots and escaped and found Carol and Maggie out in the woods. They may have been on their own supply run and had just gotten back and found the carnage. So it's hard to say, but I'm pretty sure that these individuals are members of the Saviors. And obviously they have Carol and Maggie hostage. Now, how is that going to end up? Well, the previews don't really tell us too much. They're very much guarded against letting us know exactly what is going to happen. But I think we have a general idea of what will happen. The promo starts to show Carol and Maggie before they get captured and leading up to that. So I think when the episode begins, it's going to take place at that moment. I think that Carol and Maggie are still going to be maybe arguing a little bit about Maggie's intentions for being out there, how maybe she shouldn't be out there. And maybe Carol and Maggie might see something in the distance. Somebody might try to jump out at them. Because in the promo, it is seen that one of the Saviors is wounded. The Savior is either stabbed or shot in the arm. And it's clear that Carol did it. Because in the promo, the man points out, yeah, thanks to this woman, I'm injured. And basically, it seems that Carol, at some point, maybe in an effort to prevent them from getting captured, maybe to help save Maggie, wounded this guy. But probably what ended up happening was, people came out, they realized that they were outnumbered and surrendered. So we get back to the present time, and in the sneak peek, what it shows is Alicia Witt's character Polly confirming that Maggie and Carol are alive, and Rick and them are basically proposing potentially some kind of a trade. Well, whether that's going to happen or not is hard to say because the Saviors have 2 people and Rick's group only has 1, a man named Primo, who they captured. And basically, Polly points out, 2 for 1, is that really fair? what are you going to give for us? It's kind of a little uneven, if you will. But what I think is going to end up happening is at some point they're going to work something out, because it would seem that Primo is very important to the Saviors, and that he may be a doctor or may have some kind of medical background which would allow him to heal someone. And let's face it, in certain situations, some people are going to be more valuable than others. I think that the group, if Rick was taken hostage, I think that the group would be willing to give up a lot more than just even Steven in order to save someone like him. So potentially, because of the fact that this man could help the wounded Savior, and that he may have some benefits, in the Savior's community, they may end up taking him, with less of a trade, if you will. Now, in the preview, we also see that Carol and probably Maggie as well are taken to some unknown location. It looks to be some kind of garage or warehouse or something. And Polly ends up telling Carol, she says, "You're wondering if there's a way out of this, not unless I say so." And what I think this is I think really, Polly, who's played by Alicia Witt, seems to be a character that is a no-nonsense kind of person. I think she has a pretty good understanding of what she wants to have happen. Whether she's the leader in this group or not, I'm not sure. But she seems to have a pretty good idea of what she wants to get out of this scenario. And I think that what we're going to see is, potentially a battle of wits between Rick's group and the Saviors. Because when you look at the title, The Same Boat, I think that what that kind of is referencing is the situation. It's that, look, you have people that we care about, and we have people that you care about. And, at this point, we're in the same boat. We're willing to trade in order to, get a mutual benefit here. And I think that it also has to do with just the strength of the group. Both of these groups are willing to, do terrible things to each other to get their goals done. The Saviors are obviously pretty dangerous. And, we have Rick's group that's also dangerous. So I think that it really refers to that. And I think what it's going to be is it's going to be a situation where the two groups, I think, are going to try to figure something out that might benefit them. Now, the Saviors might want something more, but I'm not sure about that. And whether it's going to be alluded to that there's more Saviors or not is definitely something that's uncertain. We may find out, that these individuals might let Rick's group know, hey, there's more of us and I can get more people down here. Or they may keep that concealed, or they may never get the chance to find that out. So there may be questions about, the resources, or maybe if more people are going to show up. But I get the feeling that for these next couple episodes coming up, I think that Rick's group is going to think that they finished the battle, that really, in their minds, when they took over the Savior's compound, that they thought that they had killed all the Saviors, and that this little group is the only ones that are left. So it's kind of like a situation where I think they think, well, this is it. We're going to get Carol and Maggie back, and we're going to, either kill these people or let them go, and, to heck with them. And hey, the battle's done. The war is won. But I think that they're going to, of course, in the later episodes, be surprised that there are more. But I think that by the end of this episode, they're going to think that they've won, that they've defeated all the Saviors. How are Carol and Maggie going to get loose? Well, I could see that going two ways. On the one hand, I could see a situation where, they're able to successfully trade, and Rick's group is able to trick the Saviors and maybe kill them. That might happen. But on the other hand, I could also see a situation where Carol is able to, manipulate the situation, and maybe she and Maggie combined are able to come up with a plan that would defeat the Saviors, and Rick's group wouldn't have to do anything. Like they might show up at wherever Polly is holding them, and they may end up finding a bunch of dead bodies and saying, oh, well, looks like the mission's accomplished. And, Carol is definitely a character that could do something like that. And I think that going into this, I think there's a very good chance that the Saviors are going to underestimate Carol's abilities because, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately in this case, it's kind of easy to do that with Carol. At first glance, you wouldn't think of her as somebody who could do, terrible things that she's capable of doing, like killing, or, blending in, or having this, ability to make plans, manipulate, and, she is smart. She's very resourceful. And I think that Polly and the other Saviors are going to underestimate her abilities. And I think that there's a very good chance that Carol is going to, exploit that. That I think that maybe she's going to, make herself to be vulnerable, to say, hey, I won't do anything. I promise I'm not going to hurt anybody. Let's just do this, might make herself seem like she's vulnerable. But I think the Saviors are going to let their guard down around her, and her and Maggie might end up coming up with some kind of a plan that would kill the other Saviors. That I could see happening. But I think the episode is mostly going to be dealing with this. I don't know if we're going to see Alexandria in this episode, but I would not be surprised if they're only focusing on this part of the story. Now, there is a spoiler that I heard about this episode, the very ending or around the ending, that may set up some of the things in the future. So I'm going to give an extra warning. If you do not want to know what this spoiler is, then I would also exit the video at this time because I don't want to spoil anybody. But I did hear that the end of the episode is going to involve Rick killing Primo, the guy that they have held hostage. And what I think that might happen, which is kind of connected with my predictions, is that Rick's group is going to win, and either they're going to kill the rest of the Saviors, either Rick's group's going to do that, or Carol and Maggie are going to do that before the hostage exchange is successful. So they'll still have Primo, the guy they had before, in their custody. And what I've heard is that the group starts to speculate about, well, who's Negan? Out of the people that we killed, did we kill Negan? And that they turn to Primo and ask him, which one of you guys is Negan? Who was it? And that Primo actually says, well, I'm Negan. And that when he says that, Rick shoots him in the head. I could see this happening. It definitely makes sense to see something like this go down because, excuse me, what I think it means is that the group is going to get into this false sense of winning. That they might think, hey, we killed Negan, we killed all of his people, we win. And that the next couple of episodes, they're going to be shocked when they realize, oops, no, there's a lot more of them out there, and they're more resourceful than we thought. Because I think that would make a lot of sense, If they think they've killed Negan, then, they think that they've gone to the extent of what they've accomplished and that the Saviors are no more. And I think that leading into these next couple of episodes, I think we're going to see Rick's group trying to move forward, with the hilltop and with the expanding of Alexandria, doing things like that, and not expecting that there are other Saviors out there. Because obviously one of the big questions is, where is Dwight? I think they might make a presumption that Dwight has been killed by the Saviors. I think that they're going to believe that and leave it alone. And I think that when they reappear, I think it's going to be terrible. I think that several of Rick's group or people in Alexandria are going to die, and it's going to lead right up to the ending of season 6 with Negan, who is actually being portrayed by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, appearing. So that's what I think is going to happen. I'm very interested to see how the episode is going to turn out. And, I think this last part of season 6 has been very entertaining. And I think it's only going to get more intense as time goes on. So with that, I'm going to bring this video to a close. I want to thank all of you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them. Feel free to subscribe. I do have more videos coming. And if you have any suggestions for future videos that you would like to see, don't be afraid to suggest them. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you very much for watching.